Hey, thanks a lot for joining us. This is a look at the Masters Series, Canada Cup Gaming's Masters Series, which will be this upcoming weekend in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It's a round-robin, first-to-seven tournament. We know 7 players will be there. Got to get an 8th, but we're going to be talking about each of those 7 players.
Yeah, and those 7 players basically got there by winning previous Canada Cups all the way since 2010, I believe, right?
That's right.
So they've been winning. So the winners are all brought back for that. And then there was also a qualifier at Wednesday Night Fights. And then Luffy, the EVO champion of 2014, was invited as well.
Okay.
The 8th player who's going to compete in this is going to be the winner of the Open tournament that's going to take place right beforehand.
Right.
And I believe there's actually some really good names that are going out for that.
There are.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. But again, we're going to be looking at the 7 players that we do know.
That's right.
That are already there. And so we're going to be talking about in this video, we're going to be talking about Kazunoko.
So Kazunoko won Canada Cup in 2011. Okay, that was in AE. That was when Yun was really good. Really good. Yun is a good character now, so...
he's still a good character.
He's certainly still a good character. Maybe not that good, but he's top tier.
Yeah. I mean, he got a slight nerf in 1.04.
Yeah.
But, I mean... He's still an amazing character. Yeah, and in fact, Yun is considered one of those characters who everyone was expecting to win a ton of tournaments in 2014 after Ultra dropped. Yeah. And interestingly enough, Yun hasn't had that success yet.
Yeah, you know, I wondered why that was. I thought, why is nobody winning with this clearly too good character? And so I actually tried learning Yun for a while to sort of figure that out. And he's not as easy to use as he's really not. His neutral game is more interesting than it seems. The pressure is more interesting than it seems, and you know he has to take risks. He has great movement and great offense and all that stuff, but he does have to take some risks. So one of the reasons people are thinking why he hasn't won as much is that he just might not be built for a long-term sort of tournament.
Yeah.
But you know that's Kazunoko did win a major this year. He has had success when he's traveled. So I do think that he's a big threat. His style is very interesting. It's very, you know, I don't know if risky is the right word, but it's very oppressive maybe.
Yeah, very active.
Very active.
Yeah. I mean, because one thing, Kazunoko, I remember when AE came out, he stated that he picked Yun intentionally because he didn't really want to concentrate on the footsies and stuff. I mean, not to say that a game like Guilty Gear doesn't have footsies, but he came from Guilty Gear.
Right, exactly, yeah. So people don't know his history. He wasn't a Street Fighter player beforehand. He was a Guilty Gear player.
Right, and he basically said that he wants a character like Guilty Gear that can kind of have that oppressive offense and worry less about, you know, this kind of game. Yeah. Right? And so he went with Yun. Right. And the interesting thing about it is, so between AE and 2012, Yun got nerfed. Right, pretty significantly. Sure. Because he was too good in AE. But Kazunoko stuck with Yun. Yeah. So he kept playing him in this state, and then when Ultra came out, Yun actually got buffed a little bit. And so he's stuck around with this character. So he has a lot of familiarity with this character. So before, whereas in AE, you know, even if Yun wasn't the greatest character, he was probably getting by a lot on shenanigans and kind of, you know, wild play and stuff like that. But I feel like he's stuck with the character long enough now that he probably has a stronger understanding of him. Yeah,
and when I watch him play, I actually do see that spacing game. I do see him set up. It's something that I feel like you kind of have to play the character Yun to see, because I didn't see it beforehand, to be honest. But I do see it now. Yeah. Where he jumps for dive kicks, where he's neutral jumping. Right. You know, where he's threatening with EX lunge punch and all that sort of stuff. It's a footsie game for sure. So he is a very good player, very strong. He hasn't had quite the success as some of the people on the list have, but he's certainly a threat.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, one of the things that's going to hurt him the most is the first to 7 format. Because Yun, like you said, he's really powerful, but he's also not as versatile as a lot of the other characters. So if you can learn to shut down kind of what Yun does, I'm going to be interested to see how Kazunoko adapts. You know what I mean? How he changes up his game. You can't play one style in a first to 7 and hope to coast by like that. You got to keep adapting and changing. Right. So I'm going to be really curious to see what kind of new things he's going to bring out for Yun. You know?
Yeah. So well, his opponents are going to be Daigo and Luffy and Pepe Dai, Snake Eyes, Shen, and Xiao Hai.
That's right.
It's a pretty good list of people. So let's start off with Daigo.
Yeah, so they've obviously played each other before.
They played at Topanga.
That's right.
Recently.
And Daigo won that one 3-2, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like it was really close. So I can't imagine it'll be too far off from that right now. But again, that was obviously 1-3 instead of 1-7. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. Daigo, of course, is everybody feels this way about Daigo, that in long sets, Daigo is going to do better, right? Because you can catch him off guard at first. Yep. It's hard not to be caught off guard in a game with 44 characters and like hundreds of amazing players playing this game, right? So you can catch him off guard, but in a long set where he has the ability to adapt, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, again, I feel like Daigo might have a slight edge on Kazunoko right now.
I think I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Kazunoko also then has to play Luffy. I don't think that they've played each other. I tried looking that up and I didn't see it.
Okay.
But it should be Yun versus Rose. Of course, we expect Luffy to stick with Rose. He has had so much success of late. Luffy has. And really comes into this, I think, as one of the big favorites. So for Kazunoko, he's going to have to try to shut down Rose. Rose can be pretty slippery.
Yes.
Pretty tough to get a handle on. She has the ability to zone out a bit, reasonably well. That said, though, Yun deals so much damage when he gets up close. Right. His mix-ups are great, and he does have mobility and ways around fireballs. And if he thinks that you're sitting still, then he can really get in with EX Lunge. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see sort of how it goes, but I think I would give the advantage to Luffy.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons also is because he's played against Ryan Hart, who's also used Yun, right? So he has some Yun experience. Now, I don't know if Ryan Hart's Yun is at the level of Kazunoko's, not sure, but again, I'm not sure if Kazunoko's played against a lot of Roses.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
I mean, Rose was relatively rare before EVO. I know a lot of people put in time after that. For example, a couple of people that Kazunoko plays against have put in time with Rose. Did, for example. So I'm sure he's gotten more experience since then.
Yeah, that's true. But, again, Luffy, very, very calm player. Like, I never see Luffy panic a lot.
Yeah.
And so I have a funny feeling that that's going to help him a lot against Kazunoko. And so, I mean, kind of same situation with Daigo in a long set. I feel like that kind of favors Luffy just a little bit.
Yeah, so. I think I agree with that. So Kazunoko also has to play against Pepidai. I don't think that they've played against each other either.
This is going to be an interesting match.
Yeah. Forte against Yun. So Pepidai thinks that Forte loses to Yun. Thinks it's a 4-6 matchup.
Okay.
So not a huge win, but significant. And I guess I can see that. So Forte has some big strengths, right? He's got a lot better in the mid range, and he has great mobility. But Yun has the ability to press so well. He has the ability, once he gets a knockdown, to be very oppressive, and he can still do that against Forte the way that he plays. He can dive kick and chest bump goes right underneath, for example, as a media. So he definitely still has options. And he punishes if he blocks a splash, if he blocks a quesadilla bomb, he can really it's so good. He has such good responses. So that's a big worry, I think. And just dealing with dive kicks as Forte is not that easy. I've been playing this character lately. He definitely has some anti-airs, but you have to really keep your spacing right. You really have to be on point with where you are with run. It's not easy. Yeah,
I'm just looking forward to it because it's just going to be a hectic match.
Yeah, it'll be really fun.
This is going to be one of those characters are everywhere, and it's going to be really fun. So, I mean, again, I don't know what to expect from this match because it's just going to be flying people everywhere. But again, just based on characters, I feel like Kazunoko has an advantage, a slight edge in this matchup.
I think I agree with that. Yeah. Kazunoko versus Snake Eyes. Again, I don't think that they've played.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting because I remember when AE first came out, everyone was like, the only character that can beat Yun and Yang is Zangief.
Right.
Because Zangief blows up these dive kicks. And then by the end of AE, that was not true at all. Right?
It seemed pretty even.
And I still feel it's that way.
I feel it's pretty even.
Maybe in 2012, maybe Zangief had a slight advantage, but I don't feel like that's necessarily the case anymore.
Yeah, Yun has better footsies than people think.
Yeah.
I would say. Look, if you had to give an advantage to one side, you're giving it to Zangief, but I do think that it's pretty even and very, very doable. One thing about how Snake Eyes plays is that he is very patient.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some setups that Yun has that can get around an impatient Geef.
Right.
You can bait out pile drivers, you can bait out lariats, and you can beat them both.
Right.
But don't expect that stuff to happen on Snake Eyes' side.
Yeah, but oppositely, like if you want to look at it from Kazunoko's point of view, Snake Eyes is really good at getting you into this game.
Yeah.
And when he gets you into this game, lots of low forward whiff SPDs or just perfectly distanced whiff punishes. But if Yun is jumping around, dive kicking and moving and is very kinetic, then I think Snake Eyes is going to have a little harder time locking him down.
Yeah.
So this one I can't call.
Well, Snake Eyes also, he tends to play against people who are scared of him.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Kazunoko just doesn't get like that. He will press wake up jab against Zangief and whoever. And he doesn't get scared, and it can be tough as Geef if your opponent doesn't get scared to teach them to do things that are bad for them. As your goal as Geef is to sort of teach them to do things that are bad for themselves, but I don't see Kazunoko getting involved.
Yeah, honestly, like this would be one that on paper a lot of people might think that Snake Eyes will run all over Yun because it's Zangief versus Yun, but I actually think we're going to be surprised by this one. Like I could totally see Kazunoko winning this matchup.
Okay. So. Well, Kazunoko also has to play against Shen. Now they did play.
Okay.
And Kazunoko beat Shen 3-1 at Southeast Asia Majors, which he ended up winning.
That's right. That got him a lot of points for Capcom Cup, though he didn't quite make it in there.
Right.
But this one, Shin was using Gen. Yeah. In a lot of the situation. I don't remember if he pulled out Poison in Southeast Asia Majors.
I don't remember if he was doing that yet, to be frank.
Yeah. And Shen has obviously picked up a lot of characters. We saw him bust out Dalsum, but obviously he's not going to be picking Dalsum in this match. Mm-hmm. But Poison might actually do pretty decently against Yun.
I could see that.
So I'm not sure what to expect from this match just yet, because I don't know who Shen is going to go with necessarily.
Yeah, he might. Look, it's a 7-game series. Yeah. I could definitely see him trying out Poison to start. If he doesn't like it, he can go to Gen. Or vice versa. Mm-hmm. Tries out Gen, doesn't feel like he likes it, goes to Poison, tries it out. You're right, he's not going to pick Sim, but I don't know.
I feel like Shin...
We'll see.
Yeah, interesting enough, I almost kind of want to give the slight edge to Kazunoko in this matchup. Yeah, because Shin, out of most of the players here, probably has had a history of kind of getting rushed down a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
He kind of... loses focus sometimes whenever the offense gets strong on him. So I feel like if Kazunoko can carry that through, I feel like that's probably why he won 3-1 at Southeast Majors. So I'll probably give Kazunoko a slight edge.
Okay, I can see that. I think that's reasonable. Then Kazunoko last has to play against Xiaohai. So Xiaohai beat Kazunoko 2-0 in losers finals at Canada Cup 2013. Again, that was in AE 2012.
That was with Cammy.
Was with Cammy.
Yeah, and Xiaohai we don't know who he's going to play.
Right.
Because he's also played Yun. So he knows the character, right? He knows the character. He's played Yun in the past. Yeah. But in the most recent tournament that he won in China, he was using Evil Ryu. So he's got all sorts of characters to choose from. I don't know who he's going to go with. And that's actually a huge advantage for him against all these other people. Because against, like, Luffy, it's going to go Rose. I'm going to study Rose. Snake Eyes, Zangief. I'm going to study Zangief. Xiaohai, let me study Evil Ryu and Cammy.
Well, I guess, so he's not going to go... I would not think he'd go Yun. Okay, Yun here. I don't know why he would do that. Evil Ryu, I don't know if... I think Evil Ryu can handle that, certainly, but I don't know if that's the matchup that Xiaohai would want. I would imagine Cammy would be his choice.
Yeah, because Cammy is also... Evil Ryu can definitely take advantage of hits and do damage.
Oh, yeah.
But Cammy, I feel like, can also do that. And also has that same kind of dive kicking kind of mobility. Her jump roundhouse is really good. So at certain distances where, for example, if Yun neutral jumps to fake dive kick, most characters might not be able to do anything, but Cammy might be able to jump roundhouse him out of the air.
She can also dragon punch from pretty far away.
That's right.
Dragon punch sort of goes up like this, right? It's like doesn't start out very horizontal, but it gets there.
Yeah, so exactly.
I think she has some tools.
Yeah, so I would guess Cammy in that matchup, but again, Cammy's been nerfed a little bit, lowered the damage, needs to spend a little bit more meter, so... This one is another match I can't call. Yeah. And I'm going to be saying this a lot for Xiaohai. Yeah. I don't think I can call most of his matches.
Pretty much, yeah.
But,
well, okay, so for Kazunoko, look, I'm not sure if I love the first to 7 for him. Some of the matchups, some of the players, I'm not sure if I think that he'll take 7 games off of them. There are some very solid players who know how to press their advantages, and they do not get caught off guard.
Right.
I feel like, well, like I said, I tried Yun, and I just I'm not sure that I feel even though he can be so good in a 2 out of 3, even 3 out of 5, but long sort of haul, long tournament, long set, still good, but I don't think that's where his advantage lies.
Yeah, I mean the impression of Yun for most people is that he's pretty straightforward, kind of a not a huge, like I said earlier, not a versatile character. So I think that might hurt him. But again, because now Kazunoko has spent so many years with him, he's going to know all these little things that nobody else does. So it'll be really interesting to see if he pulls out and surprises anyone with any crazy fundamental Yun tech.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, look, would I be terribly surprised if he beat everybody? No. No, not at all.
Yeah, but I guess that's what we're going to find out. It's going to be because again, they're playing everyone. It's round robin.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna every matchup we're going to see.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. That's gonna be on twitch.tv/Canada Cup this weekend. Again, if you're there in Calgary, stop by. The venue looks sick.
It does.
It's a stage with lots of seating for viewers and stuff like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And but yeah, otherwise just catch it on stream.
All right. Well, hope to see you there. Hope to see you on stream. If not, thanks again. If not, see you on stream.